David Popovici is a name you've heard a lot of in the last couple months. It seems like every single time this 17-year-old Romanian sets foot in the water, he sets the swimming world on fire. But who is David Popovici, and how did he rise to such success? Popovici's first time in the international spotlight was in 2019 at the European Youth Summer Olympic Festival. Here, at just 14 years old, Popovici won a very impressive 49.82 in the 100 freestyle. At the time, that was the fastest known swim for a 14-year-old. Coming into the meet, Popovici's best time was a 50.7 from just 1 month prior, meaning he knocked nearly a full second off his personal best in just over a month. The next year at the 2020 Romanian National Championships, Popovici dropped a half second, going a 49.26. This was notably faster than the 49.28 that Caleb Dressel went when he was 16 years old. It was after this swim that David Popovici announced his goal, to be the fastest 16-year-old in history.
I do want to beat the world record for 16 years old, which is actually Kyle Chalmers' record. I believe his time is about 47.6-ish, something. And actually the A cut for the Olympics is 57. So if I want to qualify to the Olympics, and if I will beat his record too. So I'll kill two birds with a stone. Is that how you say it?
At the 2021 European Championships, we saw Popovici's first time ever under the 49-second mark, and almost his first time under the 48-second mark. He dropped over a second to go 48.08. At the 2021 European Junior Championships, Popovici led off the 400 freestyle relay, going a blistering 47.56. This is another huge personal best, and now a new world junior record, many attributed to his recent haircut. The individual event held even more for Popovici, as he threw down a 47.3, which gave him the top seed heading into the Tokyo Olympics. We also saw a world-class 200 freestyle in a 145.26, which was just shy of the world junior record of 144.9. Coming as the top seed at that year's Olympic Games, many had high expectations for Popovici, especially seeing as how he just seemed to keep dropping time in such massive chunks. However, now that he's in the 47 low range, there were doubts that he'd be able to keep improving at his current rate. Perhaps said better by none than SwimSwam editor-in-chief Braden Keith.
47.4, 47.5 speed is not 47.0 speed, and those, for Popovici, those last 3/10 are going to be harder than the second and a half that he just dropped in a year. It's, those 3/10 are the hard 3/10.
Here's the deal: you're 16 years old, you're making big drops, they're consistent. He can squeeze another tenth, and I do think I think a 47 low can get you on the podium if you get your hand on the wall.
But he already used his haircut, so he can't cut any more hair off his head. That's I presume the only thing he did to go from 48.8 to 47.3. So I don't. Is he going to shave his eyebrows? Is that how he's going to get the last tenth?
I'm saying that Popovici makes the podium because we have to have Popovici on the podcast very soon. If someone doesn't pick him for the podium, I don't know if he'll come on.
One key thing to keep in mind when it comes to Popovici is that he is much smaller than other elite 100 freestylers. That can become an issue in an Olympic final where there are 7 other large men creating massive waves for him to be thrown around in. This issue is further complicated when you realize that one of Popovici's biggest assets is his smooth and beautiful stroke, a stroke that is much harder to maintain in choppy waters. Up first for Popovici in Tokyo was the 200 free, an event where he would be less challenged by massive waves from the field. Here we are just hundredths away from seeing Chlorine Daddy grab a medal, as his 144.68 was just 2 100ths away from winning a bronze medal. In the individual 100 free, Popovici was off his best time, going a 47.7 in semis and a 48.0 in finals. It seemed the concerns about Popovici's smaller build were coming to fruition, and many doubted the teenage phenom's ability to hang with the field in a major 100 free international final in the future. However, in true Popovici fashion, he showed just what happens when you begin to doubt him. At the 2022 World Championships, now 17-year-old Popovici exploded yet again. Up first, the 200 freestyle. Here, Popovici asserted himself as one of the favorites in semis, going a 144.40 to set a new world junior record. In finals, Popovici went out with reigning Olympic champion Tom Dean, flipping just behind at the 100 in a 49.9. He then distanced himself from the rest of the field considerably in the back half of the race, en route to a blistering 143.29 in his first world title. That swim marked the first time we see a swimmer go under 144 in almost a decade, since France's Yannick Agnel went a 143.1 to win gold at the 2012 London Olympics. Then, in the 100 free semis, we saw another massive personal best and world junior record when Popovici went a 47.13. All throughout the swimming world, there was talk. Would we see a world record in the next day? However, in finals, Popovici was once again battered by the waves, going a 47.58 to win gold by 6 100ths. One would think that worlds would hold the best performances for any swimmer in that given year. But Popovici was a man on a mission. At the 2022 European Championships, we saw Popovici break the next barrier in semis, when he went a 46.98 to become just the 4th man ever under 47 seconds in the 100 freestyle. Despite being less than a tenth away from Cesar Ciello's 2009 supersuited world record, there were doubts beginning to form about whether or not Popovici would be able to break it in finals given his previous time gains. Yet Popovici proved the doubts wrong when he went an otherworldly 46.86 to break the 13-year-old world record in the very same pool as Ciello's swim. This also meant that the world junior record was the same as the actual world record. At the end of those European Championships, Popovici set another personal best in the 200 free, when he became the first man under 143 since 2009 with a 142.97, becoming the 3rd fastest performer ever. And that marked another world junior record that will stand for a long time. That was also only 1/100 slower than Michael Phelps was when he won the 200 free at the 2008 Olympics, wearing a full-body suit. At just 17 years old, Popovici finished off the 2022 European Championships with a grand total of 15 sub-48-second swims in the 100 freestyle, placing him at number 5 all-time in that metric. But number 5 for the fastest ever in the 100 free? That wasn't going to do it. The World Junior Championships, Popovici added 5 more sub-48-second swims, boosting his total to 20 for number 2 of all time. And given how quickly Popovici can just shoot off a 47-second swim, I'd say that Drussel's days at the top of that list are numbered. This also gives Popovici the record for the most sub-48-second swims in a single calendar year, with a whopping 16. Out of all of Popovici's swims at World Junior Championships, his most impressive was his leadoff leg on the 400 freestyle relay. And here he went a 47.07 for the 9th fastest performance of all time, which is especially impressive when you realize that that was his 4th major meet in 1 year. Popovici is a very exciting swimmer to watch. It seems like he's able to go fast anytime he so much as sticks a pinky toe in the water. Not to mention, he's been dropping massive amounts of times in the last couple of years. Looking at his progression, it makes you wonder how fast he'll eventually go. In just over 3 years, he's dropped over 3.8 seconds in a 100-meter race. That's just not something that you see at this level. In the same interview where he referred to himself as a skinny legend, he mentioned he eventually wants to go a 45-second 100 freestyle. And recently on the SwimSwam podcast, Popovici said that he would love for others to break his world record and then for him to race them to get it back.
I wanna have as many contenders as possible. I want people to break my world record. I want me to break that world record again, and then I want to race with them. In Rome in 2009. They would break the world record in the heats, then in the semifinals, then in the final. And it just so happened that Cesar Ciello 46.91 stood the test of time.
If you want to stay up to date with all of Chlorine Daddy's exploits, subscribe to SwimSwam News and comment down below if you think we're going to see a 45-second 100 freestyle at the 2024 Olympics in Paris. Perhaps said better by none than SwimSwam editor-in-chief, Braden Keith. Said Keith, didn't I? Perhaps said better by none than SwimSwam editor-in-chief. Perhaps said better by none than SwimSwam editor-in-chief, Braden Keith. Such a weird tongue twister.